For years, breakfast has been sold as the most important meal of the day. We've all heard that breakfast sets us up for the day and boosts metabolism. And whilst this is not directly true, because it's not possible to boost metabolism, there is evidence that breakfast can prevent overeating and lower the risk of certain diseases. Let's take a look at why this might be. My name is Elle and I'm a registered dietitian specialising in eating disorders, disordered eating and sports nutrition. I know it sounds counterproductive, but a lot of the time, in order to stop overeating, we need to start eating more. Typically, when overeating occurs, it's following a period of restriction, which may be intentional if someone is actively dieting, or unintentional, where someone is just not getting enough energy to support their overall requirements. Either way, the body tends to try to compensate for this, and this commonly happens in the evening if you've restricted throughout the day. Studies have found that late night snacking is commonly associated with skipping breakfast, which makes sense because you most likely haven't eaten enough throughout the day if you've skipped an entire meal. So by skipping breakfast, you're delaying hunger, which is likely going to lead to more intense hunger at a later point in the day. We know that when we eat when we're starving, we're more inclined to eat more than if we were to eat when we're gently hungry. So even if you're not starving, breakfast might be a good idea. Of course, breakfast might not sound appealing to everyone, and some people don't struggle with overeating later in the day if they do skip it. So what works for you and your lifestyle is of utmost importance. However, there are situations where breakfast should really be encouraged, like if you're planning on exercising in the morning. So, what does make a nourishing breakfast? Like any other main meal, for optimal satiation and nourishment, we want to aim for a balance of all macronutrients, carbohydrates, protein, fatty acids, alongside some micronutrients. It is really important to include carbohydrates at breakfast in order to prevent low blood sugar levels following the overnight fast. When it comes to carbohydrates at breakfast, aim for whole grains where possible, as these contain more fibre. Fibrous carbohydrates provide slow release of energy, which makes it longer lasting. What's more is that fibre tends to keep us fuller for longer, so we tend to feel more physically satiated. The recommended daily intake for fibre is 30 grams per day, but the average intake in the UK is 18 grams. You can boost your fibre intake at breakfast by aiming for whole grain cereals, switching to oats or muesli, having beans with toast, adding some vegetables or fruit alongside the meal, or topping things like toast, yogurt, or even cereals with nuts and seeds. Protein is an important nutrient to have regularly throughout the day, as our body is in a constant state of muscle protein turnover. But as we saw demonstrated in some studies, overall calories are important here to support satiation. We also know that fat is an important nutrient to promote satiety and also to provide us with energy. So simple swaps like choosing eggs over just egg whites, switching to normal Greek yogurt rather than fat-free, having salmon with toast, or even adding some nut butter to your protein smoothie or on top of porridge can help increase both the calorie density of the meal and provide essential fatty acids. Breakfast can also be a great opportunity to get in some micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. Having a piece of fruit alongside a meal or including fruit and veg in the dish can help to increase our intake of fibre as well as vitamins and minerals. Smoothies and fruit juices count too. However, it's important to note that 150 mils counts towards your 5 a day, and anything more than this is considered free sugar and does not count as an additional fruit serving. We've included some examples of balanced breakfasts in the caption box below this video for some inspiration. I want to reiterate that although there is evidence to suggest that meal timing may play a role in health risk and body composition, what is fundamentally important is that you get an adequate amount of energy and macro and micronutrients. Everyone has individual preferences, not only related to food types, but also to meal timings and patterns of eating, and what works for you might not work for someone else. I hope you found this video helpful, but please leave any questions in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel for more great evidence-based nutrition information.